Hi, hello. It's been forever since we sat down and had a true knitting podcast. We're talking about whips, we're talking about things we finished recently, and it's been a minute, so I've collected a lot. I've got a cold brew that we've worked our way through today, so we're buzzing. I've got a list, because your girl came prepared. So without further ado, let's crack into it. Okay, so it's been approximately 1,000 degrees in Michigan recently. The air conditioning is not working in my car. It's toasty, I'm sweating. I have no motivation to work on big woolly sweaters. So a couple days ago, I cast on the Ilana Camisole, hello, by Not a Day Without Knitting on Instagram. I'll link everything in the description. This is an all over cable camisole. So it obviously is not blocked, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to show you the shaping, but there's some really nice bust shaping along both sides. And this yarn is 70% cotton, 30% alpaca. So it's been a perfect blend to work on in these toasty hot days. This is Pasquale Puno, color 20. It's an undyed yarn, so I think this is just the color of their base, but it's a really nice texture and it doesn't give you that icky, stiff cotton feeling that sometimes 100% cotton wool does. So I am really liking this. I think it's turning out amazing. I've kind of been obsessed with this. Also, we're just moving into whips. I have a couple finished objects, but I finished them a long time ago because it's been a minute since we've filmed. So we're just moving past that immediately, but I'm loving how this is turning out. I think it's gonna go really well, honestly, with the shirt that I'm wearing. We're going to a Pride festival today. Also, happy Pride, it's June. And I kind of wanted to wear this, but it's not really like a rainbow color at all, which is fine. Also, clearly I'm not done with it, nor is it blocked, because I have this thing where I'll cast on a sweater or a shirt or mittens or you name it. And then coincidentally, I'll think to myself, oh, I have this event it's usually like 4 days, something really unachievable. And I'm like, oh, I could get this done for that. And then I start thinking about myself wearing the object there and I get really excited about it. And then I disappoint myself when I inevitably don't finish it because I have a full-time job and also I have to sleep and I go for runs and things. And so anyway, this was one of those. So I really whipped through this beginning, but I don't think it's gonna be done in the next hour and blocked, tragically. But I really like the cables. They're 2 stitch crossovers, so like 1 stitch is crossing over, really small cables, but I think it gives it a really nice textured look. And so I'm really excited to see how it looks when it's blocked. And I love the edging is just the cable, and same with the decrease is done in pattern, so I think that looks really clean. So I'm really excited to wear this guy in our hot toasty summer weather. Perfect. Okay, moving in a complete 180 after I just said that I don't have motivation to work on heavy sweaters. I went to the farmer's market and there was a stand that has, I think they're a sheep farm, but they also do grains, so most of their farmer's market stand is like dried beans, which I love beans, but that's a side topic. So I got sucked in for the dry beans. I left with this hand-dyed yarn, and here is what we have. Are you kidding? So this is a pattern that I'm designing. I started this back in the spring, and so my inspiration was cherry blossoms, which is the pink floral design we're going for. I love this. I think this is turning out so well. So this is the hand-dyed wool from that farmer's market farm. It's kind of a variegated pink situation. And I'm really loving this color recently. I think it's really perfect for spring and summer. And I think it's a good color for me. I'm not quite sure. But I'm going to fold over the collar. I just wanted to make sure that this fits, so I gotta go try on the yoke. I have it on 2 circular needles right now, so it's kind of just so we can see the pattern, but I'm gonna do a folded collar like so. And I think that's gonna make the top look really clean. I wanted the accent here, and then I think I'm gonna do the body in white. I'm gonna do some short row shaping after the color work is my plan as of now. Because I feel like at this point, I've knit so many sweaters with and without short row shaping, and they just fit a lot better with some short rows. So maybe I'll make it in the pattern so that's optional or something. But then I think I'm gonna do white on the body, moving down. And then I don't know, I have quite a bit of this left, so maybe I'll do like a continuing motif at the hem or at the sleeves or colored ribbing or something. We have options, but I really love how this is turning out. It looks so nice on camera too. Making the chart for this was very fun and very difficult. I feel like you can see where the increased panels are too, but I don't really care. It is what it is, you know? I wanted it to look a little bit abstract, and then I kind of, there's some little dots in between the flowers, like in through here and all that. And so maybe I'll continue that down a little bit after the flowers. I think I have one more row in my chart before the color work is done. So I'm about to try it on, see where we're at, see if we can split for some sleeves, but I'm really excited about this. I think, I don't know, I have not a full pattern written up. Obviously I don't have sleeves or anything yet, but I think we're gonna fly after this color work is done. I'm doing it on 4mm needles. Let me double check. Yeah, 4mm. I have a different size in here too. But I think I'm gonna size down for the solid color section, maybe to a 3.75. I don't know, I feel like my color work is usually pretty loose. I'm a pretty loose knitter, so I usually don't have too hard of a time having, you know how when you do color work too tight and then you go from that to a loose stockinette and then it looks really rode out and super baggy. Usually I don't have that problem unless I forget to keep my floats loose enough, but I think I did pretty well with the floats on this. I don't want to show it too much. It's like too much behind the scenes. But yeah, I'm really loving this one. Hopefully I can get a pattern written up for this soon. Get some things moving so we could do a pattern release in the fall maybe? I'm trying to think if I did like a 10 or 12 week testing period, which is usually what I try to do, because I think this would look really pretty in like a burnt orange for the fall. I think that would be so perfect. Actually, hang on. We're just all over the place today, but I finished a couple months ago, honestly, the Poola Pullover by Sari Norland. This was a knit along with Sari Norland and Young Folk Knits, Casey of Young Folk Knits. This color palette, I'm obsessed with this. I think that cherry blossom sweater would look so cool with burnt orange flowers, but maybe like leaves. And maybe you can see it better on the camera than you can in real life, but there's gray is the contrasting color 1, and then contrasting color 2 is this kind of mint green. And the mint green and orange, I thought I was taking a risk. Maybe I was, but I love how they look together. I think that's such a good color palette. And I really like, I don't know how you would describe this, these little spikes going into the orange. I love that. I think that shape is so cool and so sophisticated. I made my body pretty cropped, but I'm pretty short, so if I crop something, it's like pretty full length, and I always wear high-waisted pants, so there's not a lot of torso room to work with. This yarn is Juniper Moon Farms. It's actually very reasonably priced wool. It's 100% wool. It's from Peru, and I'm pretty sure, I'll put it in the description, but I'm pretty sure it's almost 400 yards for like $17, which is not bad. And the colors are so pretty, and it knit up. There's a tiny bit of variegation. Like there's a little bit of yellow in that burnt orange, and I love it. Because I think sometimes, I don't think it would really happen with this sweater because the yoke is so busy, but I think sometimes it can be a little bit jarring when you go from a yoke sweater where there's so much going on, and then you go down to the body and there's like nothing happening. I don't know, because I know your eye is supposed to go to the color work, but I really like how the variegation looks. I think it adds, I'm trying to show you everything at once. I think it adds a lot of dimension to the boring stockinette section. But honestly, I'm trying to remember. I think the color work was on a 4mm needle. Color work takes a while. Color work yokes, they're a marathon, but the part that I did more recently was the stockinette. So in my mind, I'm like, this flew, this was so quick, but it's just because all I had left was like 2 inches of stockinette and then some ribbing. I need to block this also, so we'll report back. We've got a folded collar too, which love. So we'll report back after this guy's blocked. I haven't blocked it because it's 1,000 degrees, and so I'm not really wearing sweaters, and I kind of forgot about it. And then I was looking at my list of everything I talked about in my last podcast episode, and I realized I've finished a lot of things since then, / also cast on a lot of things. So here we are. Speaking of things I've finished that we haven't discussed, that I finished months ago. So sorry, we're so behind. We haven't caught up in years. How are you? How are things? I'm good. My Mobi cardigan's done. So the Mobi sweater by Petite Knit blew up last year. I'm trying to remember when she released it. It was either last year or 2 years ago. It's got this very recognizable cross hatch panel, and the original pattern by Petite Knit is a pullover, so it's got the same motif, and then we've got moss stitch, single moss stitch, cable down the sleeve. That's all the same, except I knitted this as a pullover and I wear it all the time. It's in, I think, a cotton blend, so it's one of my cooler sweaters, but I was like, you know what would be great is this but a cardigan, because I really liked that cable panel here with the little garter stitch columns by it. So I created my own version. I'll try and see if we can see here. So I continued the cross hatch. I did some, this section up here is all the same. Short rows are all the same. We have a cat joining us. And pick up stitches for the back the same way. So that's all to pattern. And then I just figured out how wide I wanted my neck to be based on measuring a couple other cardigans that I have that I wear pretty often. Figured out, okay, I can't remember what it was, 7 inches, 5, 10, whatever. So I subtracted that out of the center of the pattern and then did some increases down to create a neckline. And there we have it. Actually, I'll button it really quickly. Hold on a second. Okay. Here we have it. It looks kind of professor grandfather in a library, and I'm here for it. This is absolutely not something I want to be wearing right now. This yarn is leftover from a sweater I made last year. It's the Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Worsted. Really nice yarn, holds a stitch pattern, amazing. However, it's wool, and it's not itchy necessarily, but it's not soft, and it is hot. So this would be a sweaty guy to be wearing right now. But I love how this turned out. I think it looks amazing. I've drafted up a pattern for a cabled cardigan that I think would have a fit similar to this. This is done top down drop shoulder, so you do the back and then come back and pick up stitches along the top here and then work down over the front. You would connect for the front panel if you were doing a pullover. But I have a sweater drafted like this that's a similar construction, and I really like the fit of this. I made it, usually I make cardigans that end up being too big and they kind of fit like this oversized shirt I'm wearing, which is fine for winter, but sometimes I want a cardigan to look a little bit nicer, and so I want something that's a little bit more my size. I wish you could see my cat right now. She's like jumping through the window. Would you like to say hi? Come here, say hello to the people. This is Cersei. We call her the Gurk. She's very nice, but she's got approximately 1 brain cell in there. Okay, be free. I fear I've made a mistake. She's not gonna leave us now. Anyway, all of that to say, I'm really excited about how this cardigan turned out. Same with the pullover, but it's just really not, it's not the time for wearing them, so here we are. Okay, continuing on with things that I definitely don't want to be wearing in this weather, I've recast on the Skappel collab Esther sweater. So those of you who have seen my podcast for a while, it's on needles that are way too short, will have seen that I cast this on back in the winter at some point, and I was using a cotton blend. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a cotton blend. Anyway, you could see my floats through the yarn because it wasn't fluffy enough. There were gaps between the stitches. And I carried on for way too long before I realized that I wasn't gonna wear it if it was done and I needed to start over. So I went to Joann's. This is the Knit and Crochet Premium Yarn Cloud Paca. And it really reminds me of Drops Air, which is one of my favorite yarns ever. It's also a blown yarn. Let me see if I can show you. So that means the center of this yarn, instead of it being twisted around itself and kind of wrapped like that, which is usually how they blend yarns together or ply them, this is blown so the core is hollow, which makes this yarn super, super light, which is perfect for a big colorwork sweater. So I've got a pink, I've got a purple one somewhere for the next color. I'm not that far in, but I wish I could hold this up for you and show you how light it is because it feels amazing. And you can't see the stitch pattern super well, but I'm kind of okay with that because I think from far away, it just, I don't know, it looks really cool with in her original color sample, there's a pink stripe and then there's a purple stripe in the same colorwork section and then another pink and then another purple. And I really like that kind of faded stripe look. So I think this is gonna be perfect for what we're going for, but this is also something that's gonna take forever to finish. So we're kind of putting this one on the back burner. It's just for fun. But this color, I kind of want to do something else in just this. Like, they also had a really pretty sage green, like a super light faded green. Loved that. So we might be making another Joann's run in the near future. Okay, so back to more summery knits. Cesium Yarn is an indie dyer, and they sent me some yarn very kindly from their Mamma Mia collection. Hello, is that not perfect? To design something that is Mamma Mia inspired. So my initial idea was to do like a high neck shaped shirt. Then I started thinking about it and I was like, I don't know if I would wear that because I think it would be too warm, and if I'm sweating too much in the summer, I was kind of thinking something like this, maybe edging up into a turtleneck, kind of mock neck, but this is too many thoughts at once. I wanted to do a ribbed neckline and then pick up stitches and work the body down. However, I knitted the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made last year right after it came out. Loved the pattern. I knit 2 of them. They worked up like that. I think the pattern's super well written. I think the garment fits really well, and I never wear it because it's either too cold and I either need to wear something with sleeves, or it's too hot and I don't want a turtleneck. In there lies my dilemma. But I've knitted this V-neck tank top. So this one has no shaping. It's just V-neck and then the body is square. So I kind of want to do a sample with some bust shaping as well because I want to include it in the pattern. And I also have plans to do a textured version of this in a different stitch pattern. This was kind of just the one I mocked up. Also, side note, look at how pretty that yarn is. Like, hello. The variegation is so perfect, and in navy blue for summer. Sorry, my straps are a little wonky. They're all a little bit different length because I wanted to block it and see how deep I wanted my armholes prior to making a commitment. But I love how this turned out. So I did an I-cord edging as we went along, which I think looks really clean. And more importantly, you don't have to go back and add armhole edging or neckline, which usually is what stops me from finishing summer tanks, because I'll think I'm done, I'll cast off the bottom, and then it'll be like, you have to do double knitting on the collar and also on the sleeves. And because it's a tank top, that's a lot of double knitting. That's a lot of stitches to pick up, and I'm just not motivated to do that. So, one and done, baby. Finish as we go. I have a pattern written up for a couple sizes of this, but I need to finish grading it. I think this is the front. There we go. I need to finish grading it. I need to get it to a tech editor, but keep your eyes peeled for a test call coming soon, as well as bust shaping and a more textured textured stitch pattern. I want to do a lot of sizes for this because I don't want there to be too much range between sizes, if that makes sense, because I want you to be able to knit a size that fits you with negative ease across the bust, or 0 ease, or positive ease, who cares? Make it fit however you want. But I want the size to be super customizable. I love this. I think this turned out great. Maybe I should wear this to Pride today. That could be good. All I have to do is attach my sleeves. It will be worked top down. I started top down. And then you don't have to pick up stitches. You just have to pick up stitches I did. Never mind. It's worked top down. I don't want to go into too much depth before I finalize what I'm actually going to do in the pattern. But this fits across the bust very well for me. However, the square body, my body is not square, so it looks a little baggy around the waist. So I think if I were to, you know, I think that would go a long ways. So stay tuned. I'm obsessed with this. I love how this turned out. Their yarn is dyed so beautifully. And the Mamma Mia collection is so fun. Like, how come I didn't think of that? I love Mamma Mia. So thanks to Cesium for this yarn. I will keep you posted on how this pattern comes along. Okay, so while I was collecting all my whips for this video, I kept finding more stashed places that I forgot that I started. So along that vein, we have the Ingrid Sweater by Gregoria Fibers. This looks so cool. So this is not blocked, but let's pretend that we blocked it and give it a little, look at how pretty that is. Hello? And the color, so summery. I love this. We've got a drop shoulder, top down. I made my body quite oversized, so my sleeve looks really silly and small. I might have to add length to this, but I'm pretty sure when we block it out, I think it's gonna gain a lot of length, and I didn't want sleeves that were like 6 inches too long, which sometimes is fine, but I feel like for a sweater that is geared more toward the summer, that's not the goal. I went on vacation a couple months back and started this. I'm pretty sure one of my wooden needles is broken here, which is why I stopped working on it, because I have 900 whips going at any given time, and so I don't have that many spare needles or spare cords because I use interchangeable needles. So I'll have needles and I'll go, oh, I'm gonna cast something on, and then all of my cords are in another project. But I love this. I love the color. This is also woolstock worsted, or sorry, not worsted. It's their light wool. I got this initially because when I designed my Imogen sweater, that purple all over cable guy, I held 2 strands of yarn together, and I was thinking about doing an Imogen cardigan, which I kind of still am, but it was just taking a lot of effort with the shaping for a cardigan, because I prefer a V-neck cardigan, and then keeping the cables in pattern. Look who's back. So I kind of abandoned that, but I had gotten this yarn for that initially. Actually, let me show you what I did so far because it's kind of funny. Excuse me, ma'am. So this is what we had for the Imogen cardigan. The cabling, I think, looks really nice, and I really like this color. What do you think, since you're staring at it so intensely? I think I really liked how this was turning out. I did bottom up, so I have like a little bit left from the front sections. I'm unraveling this, but it just, the way I did it wasn't working. I don't know if bottom up was the move. I started top down, I ripped it out. I started top down again, excuse me. I switched yarns to this one. I started bottom up. It just wasn't working, so I gave up, like any true creative. Maybe we'll come back to this guy. Let me know if you really like it, but I like the thing that we're doing with this yarn more anyway. So this guy's on the back burner for now, but I really like this yarn. I really like this color. It's her show now. It's the Gurk's world. We're all just living in it. Ma'am, be gone. Nobody get mad at me for tossing my cat. She had it coming, okay? All right, what else do we have? Okay, speaking of things that I cast on for vacation knitting, this is some fingering weight wool I had in stash, and I cast on the Ariose socks, which are a free pattern on Ravelry. Check out that lace work. I'm obsessed. So we were going to a couple weddings and things, and I just needed something small to knit on the plane to take with me because I was in the middle of all of these giant whips and I was almost at the end of the 2 sweaters that I had finished, and I didn't want to bring an entire thing on the plane just to knit 3 rows and then cast off. So we have success here because, please hold, gotta get the dust off. I've finished the first sock. It's not blocked, but clearly I like this color because it really matches my bedspread. But this is so pretty. And so there's an option to do lace just on the front of the ankle, or you could do the lace wrapping all the way around. Obviously I did all the way around. I think that looks really pretty. I did the sloppiest Kitchener stitch I think I've ever done on this toe. I haven't knit a sock in forever. It's top down, which is fine. I've knit socks top down and bottom up or toe up. I don't really have a preference. I'm not that big of a sock knitter, but I really like this one. I did a slip stitch reinforced heel ? This is not sock yarn, so I don't know how it's gonna feel on, but I just needed something I could start. And I really like this. I think that cable is so pretty with this color. It's really similar to, I think their sample, I wanna say it was a little darker than this. I wanna say it was like a burnt orange. So I really like this. I think it's turned out great. This is, okay, here's the thing. I have a tendency to start a pair of socks, usually as a gift. I finish the first one with all the confidence in the world, and I either never cast on or never finish the second sock. So there's a couple people out there, apologies if it's you, it's my mom. If I've given you a sock for an occasion, a birthday, a Christmas, whatever it be, and said, oh, don't worry, the second sock is on the way, and then you've never received a second sock. I do apologize for that. It is what it is. Now that I'm making socks for myself, I've at least cast on the second one. So this was quick, I will say. The lace chart repeats over 4 or 6 rows. It's not very much. So it's pretty intuitive after you get through a couple rounds in the ankle, and then same after you get through the heel, get through a couple rounds, and then you do some decreases on the toe. Bada bing, bada boom. A sock. So stay tuned to see if I finish the second one. I have medium hopes for myself, let's be honest, but I really like these and I want to wear them. I have Birkenstock clogs that I think would be great with this, so stay tuned. Give me all your sock finishing wisdom, please. Last but not least, we have a completely finished cardigan that I designed the pattern for. So I forgot about this. This is Portobello yarn by Hobbi. It's not blocked, so please bear with me. I haven't woven in a single end. So I did a bottom up construction. Is that true? Yes. No, I'm gonna say it with my chest. I did a bottom up construction, attached some sleeves because I wanted this detail here. It's super simple, stockinette all over. This is just ribbing, pick up stitches to work ribbing. I've got buttonholes, but no buttons. I think, yeah, I don't have buttons on here yet. But I really wanted to do this 3 needle bind off across the top. I think it looks really cool. It's so easy. And so I did a little bit of short row shaping at the top. And I think that this 3 needle bind off really reinforces the shoulder well. I wear a lot of cardigans that kind of, after a few months of wearing, they sag a lot. Like the shoulder gets really loose and droopy and the whole thing kind of just collapses through this section here. And so I wanted to design a cardigan that's basic, easy, stockinette, great beginner project, great first sweater, that won't do that. I wanted a staple and here we have it. So I really like this detail. I think it's really pretty. So you knit the body. Let me hold this up better. You knit the body, starting at the bottom, flat. There's no knitting around. Starting with the ribbing, working your way up. And then you put the stitches for the front panels on hold. You knit the back, do a little shaping at the top, or not. If it's your first sweater, don't do it. Pick up the stitches off your holder, knit the front panels, 3 needle bind off here, which is so easy, honestly. If you've never done a 3 needle bind off, it's literally like binding off, except instead of knitting a stitch, you're knitting 2 together each time. So that's super easy. And you don't have to do German short rows because you're just doing, you do have to do German short rows. I literally just lied to you. I'm so sorry. But at least it's not the first thing you start with. So you've got the confidence of a bunch of stockinette and you could just not do them. Pick up for sleeves, do a couple decreases evenly down the sleeve, ribbing, and then pick up stitches around here, around your collar. Leave the back stitches on hold to pick up for your ribbing, and then you're done. So I forgot that I had done this, so I don't have a pattern written up. I have a pattern for this size and nothing else, but I think it's gonna be pretty easy to grade because the body's square. There's a little bit of shaping around the armhole, but I wanted kind of a boxy, chunky fit. So it's a little bit more unisex too. This is a pretty cropped version, but I think this is gonna be perfect. So I'm gonna hopefully get a pattern written up for this guy too. I always say this, I'm like, hopefully I'll get a pattern written up, and then 3 months go by. No, we're not doing that this time. Somebody text me and say, did you write a pattern for that sweater? This yarn is really cheap too. It's on the Hobbi website. It's in a million colors. It's called Portobello. I'll link it in the description. So it's great. It's wool and acrylic. Some people really have beef with acrylic. I'm not one of them. It's not that serious, it's just yarn. So if you wanna knit your first sweater, if you wanna knit your first cardigan, this would be great. This would be a great pattern. I'm gonna try and do some video tutorials as well for 3 needle bind off, for picking up stitches, for the sleeves, for doing a ribbed button band. But to be honest, you probably don't need me to make knitting tutorials for them because there are so many on YouTube. So I'll link some of those too whenever I get this test call out. But if you've never done a test knit or you've never knit a sweater before, this would be a great one because it's just stockinette. If you can knit a hat, you can knit this. This is easier than knitting a hat. Okay. I think that's all I have for us. Let me consult my list. We've gone wildly out of order, but I've put a little check next to everything we've discussed, and that's our last check mark. So with that being said, actually wait, no, hang on, I have one more acquisition and it's really important, don't leave. Okay, so it's not yarn, but I feel like you guys get me, so I feel like you'll understand my vision here, but I thrifted this beautiful, stunning, fake snakeskin jacket. We were gonna go to a concert, Stevie Nicks. It got canceled, postponed, because Stevie was sick, which will let her do anything because she's literally God. But I'm obsessed with this. I don't know where I'm gonna wear it, but I saw it and I was like, sometimes things are a want. No, that's a need. So what should I knit to go with my snakeskin jacket? OOTD, but it's this bad bitch. Are you kidding? Hello? It's so good. It's so good. Okay, I just wanted to show you all that because I'm very proud of it and I love it dearly. So, also I just pulled this double pointed needle out of the chair that I'm sitting in. There's a lot happening here today. I started my day with a cold brew and we never came down. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you can hit subscribe, you can hit like if you'd like to see more of these videos, if you'd like to see more thrifted snakeskin jackets and knitting. Thank you so much for watching. I will hopefully see you sooner than this video to the last, but I'll see you next time.